Hey, good people, good afternoon. I hope your Thursday is going well. This is another episode of the Camnon Biz Podcast, and I am Vernon from Camnon Business Services. We want to make sure that we bring you some good information on some things that business owners might not be aware of as it relates to bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is just that important. Having accurate financial records are just that important. As a matter of fact, it's so important that one of the biggest scandals in the last 50 years took place because of cooked books, not making sure that the books and the numbers and the financial recording was accurate, whether they knew it or not. I'm talking about the Enron scandal, whether they knew it or they not, they did not. Something wasn't right. The books were cooked, as they say, and it turned out that they didn't have the money that they were supposed to have, and a whole big mess ensued. So a lot of scandals boiled down to inaccurate financials, or if the financials were inaccurate, whether it was intentional or not. It all boils down to somebody didn't know what they needed to know, and a whole lot of people ended up getting hurt as a result of that. So we want to help small businesses and solopreneurs avoid that totally by putting the focus on accurate bookkeeping and how essential that is. There are 5 key insights that a business owner can gain from making bookkeeping a central part of their operation. And unfortunately, too many business owners and entrepreneurs treat it like it's a second thought, or put it off until they can't put it off anymore. And then they have a big mess that needs to be cleaned up. And nobody wants a big mess on their hands. So I'm here to let you know, if you find yourself in a situation where you're overwhelmed and overburdened by the need to make sure that you got your numbers straight and your financials are in order, you can always reach out to CamnonServices.com. That's what we specialize in. And we specialize in helping entrepreneurs just like you. But to get into these 5 insights real quick, the first of them is cash flow management. I talked in an earlier episode, I think it was last week, about the significance of cash flow management, especially as it relates to negative cash flow. Hey, that's a fact of life. It's something that happens for every business. And at some point or another, you're going to realize that, hey, more went out than came in. Usually it's a temporary situation. Like I said, it does happen in just about every business at certain times. You want to minimize those occurrences, and you want to always have a plan so that you don't, so that doesn't become a problem that your business can't handle and can't survive. But one of the critical decisions, there are quite a few critical decisions that hinge on cash flow management. Timing of investments. At any point in time for your business, you're going to need to buy new equipment. You're going to need to have a new subscription to a software package. There's going to be something that you need, some asset that you need. Might be a good time to do it, might be a good time to not do it. All of that is based on, and the decision on whether or not to do it is based on cash flow management. Accurate cash flow projections can help determine the best time to make these kinds of investments. All right. Managing receivables and handling payables. Again, cash flow management, when money goes out, when money comes in. You want to make sure that if money is supposed to be coming in, if you have clients, customers that are supposed to pay you, you want to make sure that they're paying you in the most timely manner, and a decision that you can make based on knowing what your numbers are, knowing accurate bookkeeping is whether or not you can afford to offer an early payment discount. Sometimes you got to incentivize people doing the right thing. So if you have a customer or client that needs to pay you and you want them to pay you at the beginning of the month as opposed to the end of the month, or you want them to pay you earlier as opposed to later, sometimes you can make a decision based on what your company can afford to give them a discount, give them some incentive for actually making an early payment. And that's one of the decisions that good bookkeeping can show you. Same on the other side of the coin with handling payables. If you owe, you have to pay money for services or goods that you received. It's important, number one, to be aware of what the time frame you have is. It's always good to ask for terms that work in your favor. There's something called net 30, net 7, net 15, however it works, whatever you and the vendor that you are doing business with can come to agreement about. Many times you can actually get extended terms on when you can make a payment. Sometimes payment is not always due upon receipt of the invoice or right at the time of service. So being able to make a decision on when you can make a payment can help you hold on to cash longer. There's nothing, well, I'm sure there's something worse, but it certainly is not a good thing and a good feeling to pay a bill, pay something that you said, okay, I needed to pay it. I could have paid it later, but I paid it now. And then right around the corner, right after you do that, an emergency pops up. And now you don't even have a choice to make. You're just stuck between a rock and a hard place because you already spent the cash that you had on hand that you could have had a little bit more time for just such a situation like that. So another area where a critical decision can be made based on bookkeeping is just financial health and performance. You have to do profit analysis. You have to do cost benefit analysis. You have to plan out growth strategies. All that is determined on the financial health and well-being of your business. Where are you? Are you in a low cycle? Are you in a high cycle? Is this the time? Everything is based on timing. Is this the time to make the kind of move that you want to make? So identifying which products or services are the most profitable and making decisions to focus resources on those areas fall under this category, right? Profitability analysis. Whether you're going to discount low margin products or invest in more high margin offerings. Deciding whether to outsource a function or keep it in-house. Again, financials, you have to know, does it make more sense to bring on a new employee, or does it make more sense to train the staff that you have so that they can handle that needed function? You have to weigh the costs. And strategizing for growth. There are times every business wants to expand, but expansion has to be done the right way and at the right time. Whether you are entering new markets or opening up a new location, all of that is based on what we have, how financially healthy and strong we are, and is this the best time to make that move? So another area that every business owner needs to be focused on, but many times new entrepreneurs or sometimes even experienced entrepreneurs don't realize how critical it is that you put focus on this area of bookkeeping and your finances so that you don't get sideswiped by something you don't want to. Expense tracking, just like a hawk needs to be over the place where chickens hang out. Was that chicken farm, chicken coop, whatever it is. An entrepreneur needs to be over expenses and costs and constantly be flying over that, just like a chicken hawk needs to be flying over some chickens. You want to know what is costing you to make the moves that you need to make. You want to know if pennies are slipping out the door or flying out the window. You want to know and find that out as quickly as you can. Nothing can be overlooked. Okay. And I know that most business owners don't want to be bean counters, but somewhere in your business operation, you need to have bean counters, because if you got a little hole in the bucket and one bean at a time is falling out per day, eventually you're going to have an empty bucket. So budget allocation, cost reduction, and pricing strategies. Those are areas that fall under the category of expense tracking and cost control that entrepreneurs and business owners need to give constant attention to. But if you're about the business of running what your business is known for, maybe you don't have the brain power and the capacity and the time to put energy into that, but somebody does. So that's where a good bookkeeper, a good bookkeeping system comes into play. Somebody's got to be focused on that. while you focus on growing and expanding your business. So another area that is critical, or at least that critical decisions based on bookkeeping, based on the numbers, based on accurate financials, is going to take place, that unfortunately too many business owners overlook, is tax preparation and compliance. Whether you're dealing with the local level, the state level, or the federal level, there's some regulation, there's some hoops to jump through, some bar to jump over, just to make sure that you can stay in business and keep on doing what you do without having to worry about being fined or without, penalties of some sort. You want to make sure that you have your books in order. Where's my, it's over there. Sometimes keeping your records organized and together as they should be and as comprehensive as they should be results in, a big old binder full of records. Imagine if you had a whole year worth of your transactions, and at any point you can pinpoint, oh, this is what that was, that's what this was, this is why that occurred. At some point, you're going to find it's necessary to do that. And when you're talking about compliance issues, when you're talking about anything dealing with taxes, you want to make sure your stuff is right. So being prepared for an audit, being in regulatory compliance, and just planning and strategizing for what deductions, what credits, what deferrals you have at your disposal is going to be absolutely critical. Very few individuals can keep all that stuff in their head at one point in time. Most business owners who are successful and who are growing the way that every business owner wants to grow knows that you got to have somebody to do that for you. And most of them have somebody that does that for them. Very few people try to do that themselves. That's where having a bookkeeper on your team would be absolutely essential. And the last area that is important, where critical decisions could be made based on bookkeeping, based on having accurate financial records, is just making general business decisions, okay? Strategic planning. You got to set long-term goals for your business. Those are based on financial data trends and your projections that you make based on your numbers. Whether you're coming out with new product lines, whether you're expanding into new markets, or whether you're getting to the point where your business is big enough to sell. You want to start talking about mergers and acquisitions. All of that is based on accurate financial numbers. Resource allocation. There may be areas of the business that are performing better than others. And there are some areas that you can say, okay, that's worth investing more in because it impacts the bottom line and impacts the growth trajectory of the business. Or you can say, hey, right now, this area is underperforming, or I see where for what our goals are, this area doesn't have as much of an impact on where this company is headed. You may want to cut back the funding for certain areas, but all that goes into budgeting and forecasting based on accurate numbers, which is what bookkeeping is all about. And I already spoke about hiring decisions. That's also a part of the planning that you would do for your business. One of the decisions that you make, might not be the right time to hire an individual, even though you desperately want to or desperately feel like it would be a good match for you and for your company to have another person added to the mix. But if the numbers say it ain't so, it ain't so. So that's a quick rundown of 5 areas where that are actually critical, where critical decisions can be made about your business based on financials, accurate financials, also known as good bookkeeping, that unfortunately there are lots of business owners that overlook, neglect, or just aren't aware of these particular areas. But there's no need for that because, again, you have services at your disposal. Camnon Business Services would be a great place to start. Let's schedule a free consultation. Go to the website, camnonservices.com, and hit the contact button. Find out exactly what it is we do. Find out how we can do it for you and how you can be benefited by a relationship where we both focus on how to grow and expand your business and your bottom line. So that's it for today. That is Camnon Biz Podcast, episode 5, I believe. We are on a roll and we're going to keep on rolling. So please like, subscribe, and share this wherever you see it. Help me get the word out. More business owners and more entrepreneurs need to know and need to have a better understanding of the numbers and the financials in their business, and can be put in a stronger position by having a good teammate who wants to focus on all that stuff for you. All right, that's it, folks. Have a great day. Peace and blessings.